Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and compare the iPhone 14 Plus and the iPhone 12 and see which specific phone you should go and pick up. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, the links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, another big thing is that Apple is still currently selling both of these phones. So the 14 Plus, obviously, they're still selling, but the iPhone 12 is one of the cheaper iPhones you can buy from Apple at like $599. So there's still really good options here for sure. Now, starting off side by side, you can definitely tell the iPhone 12 is a much smaller phone than the iPhone 14 Plus. The iPhone 12 on the front had a 6.1-inch Super Retina Extra OLED panel, and overall, I mean, it's not a bad panel still. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. It's 60 hertz, so it is a little bit lower in terms of screen, refresh rates compared to the 13 Pro and 14 Pro. But I will say for $599, it's not a bad phone at all. I mean, you're getting flat sides, you're getting a little bit of a notch, still kind of the same thing on the 14 Plus, but it is a smaller phone overall than the 14 Plus, so that's probably something to keep in mind. The 14 Plus, on the other hand, has a ginormous 6.7-inch Super Retina XR OLED panel. I will say the panel themselves look almost exactly the same. Now, the 14 Plus panel does get brighter, but otherwise, this phone panel kind of looks the same. It's just a way bigger phone. The notch is a little bit slimmer, but it's longer, so I don't know why Apple even did that, but it's a little bit of a different styling of notch. You're also getting, like I said, the same flat sides, a little bit of bezel around it, but it's not anything different than the iPhone 12. So I will say in terms of the front, maybe the 14 Plus is better because it gets brighter, but they're almost identically the same thing. Now, in terms of thinness and thickness between both, as you guys can probably see, not like a crazy big difference either. I think they're almost identically the same thing. Maybe the 14 Plus is slightly thicker, but they're almost identical. But another big thing that's kind of aiding the iPhone 12 is with its SIM card tray. You actually do get a SIM card tray on the iPhone 12 right here, where you don't have that on the iPhone 14 Plus. So that is kind of a disadvantage on the iPhone 14 Plus. I wish it had it, but you can still use the eSIM, and probably most people won't even care at this point. Now, in terms of the back, we also have a little bit of a different setup. The 14 Plus looks kind of like a ginormous iPhone 12. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, which is very funny. We have kind of the same type of setup, ultra wide cameras, but the cameras are bigger on the 14 Plus, but also they are sideways. They are diagonal on the iPhone 14 Plus. I think that's cool. They made it so I think because the cameras are just too big to kind of overlap here, so they made them diagonal. And otherwise, other than that, I mean, there's not really that crazy big of a difference here. They both have MagSafe capability here, wireless charging. They both have IP certification. Now, these two are the white color between them, and the iPhone 12's white, I think it looks a little bit more pinkish, with the 14 Plus looks a little bit more white. I don't know if you're able to tell that over the camera. They both have IP certification, which is great. The iPhone 14 Plus does have crash detection as well as the emergency SOS satellite mode. So that is something really cool on this specific phone, where we don't really have it on the iPhone 12. But other than that, they're both very similar. I mean, you guys can kind of tell, like, between the outside, there's so much overlap here, it's like not even funny. Now, in terms of software and longevity, this is where things are going to get interesting. The iPhone 12, it is an older phone. It does have an older chipset than the iPhone 14 Plus. This one came out in 2020, but the 14 Plus has a year-old chipset inside of it. So this one has the same chipset as the iPhone 13 series. So I don't know if the iPhone 14 Plus, even though it's 2 years newer, I don't know if it's going to last 2 years longer than the iPhone 12, or if it's only going to last 1 year longer than the iPhone 12. So I don't know what's really going to be happening here. I guess we're going to have to kind of see what happens, but in my opinion, something like the iPhone 12 is still going to be lasting for many, many more years. It's only 2 years old now, so this thing still has a humongous life ahead of it. I guess we're going to have to wait and see, but otherwise than that, I think the iPhone 12 is still going to be here for, for a long period of time. But if you want the longer lasting phone, go for the 14 Plus. Now let's go into a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 12 has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 14 Plus has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, hopefully you guys can see the screens. All the apps are clear in the background, so let us get into it. 12 is here, 14 Plus is here. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing. Music 3, 2, 1. Okay, 14 Plus was slightly faster there. Let's go into settings 3, 2, 1. Kind of the same thing. App Store 3, 2, 1. 14 Plus was slightly faster. iPhone 12 was a little bit behind. Not anything crazy. Now, scrolling through, I think the 14 Plus was slightly faster, but they are exactly the same thing. It just kind of look like it loads a little bit faster. I will say, though, 60 hertz on both look almost identical. Podcast 3, 2, 1. 14 Plus slightly faster. Let's go into the camera 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go ahead and take a photo. 14 Plus was slightly faster to load into the photo and take the photo. So let's go and hop out of here. We always have some of these third-party applications we can go and open up. So let's write Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, this isn't that crazy big of a game, so I'm sure there's not going to be too many differences. Now, the 12 did kind of have that little downloading content thing at the beginning with, so kind of keep that in mind, give it a little bit of leeway for the 12, but still I think the iPhone 14 Plus would still have been faster at the end of the day. Scrolling out of this one, let's go and test out some other things. Snapchat 3, 2, 1. Okay, we were logged into here, so that's probably one thing to keep in mind. Let's go and get in Netflix 3, 2, 1. Totally messed that one up on both of them. Let's go and scroll right here. Let's do thank you 3, 2, 1. And the 14 Plus was slightly faster there. Hopping out of here, Snake vs. Blocks 3, 2, 1. The iPhone 14 Plus was slightly faster, followed by the iPhone 12. Facebook 3, 2, 1. I think I'm logged into an account here, so I am. So we'll just kind of let that one slide. Twitter 3, 2, 1. 14 Plus again was a faster one. And we can try something like, let's see if I have Subway Surfers here, which I don't think I have. Let's go and load up another one. Let's go and try something like Stack 3, 2, 1. So overall, and that one was very close, but I think the 14 Plus still won. So overall, I will definitely tell you when it comes down to it, both these phones are fast. I will probably say that a phone like the 14 Plus is going to be the faster one when it comes down to it. I think the iPhone 12 still did an overall really good job, but I think the 14 Plus is like slightly faster, but they were very, very close as well. Now, moving on to the camera setups between both, what's very interesting is they both are kind of the same thing. So they both have dual camera setups, wide and ultra-wide lenses. Now we're getting 4K at 60 on the back and the front of both these, which is really nice. Now, I will say the iPhone 12 doesn't have as many features built in as something like the iPhone 14 Plus, but this is still a very, very good camera sensor for sure. Now, this specific phone, you're getting 0.5x zoom. You're also getting 5x zoom, which is exactly the same thing as the 14 Plus. Now, with this type of phone, you're getting standard photo mode, which is really, really good. You're getting video mode as well, which I love. You know, obviously everyone loves video mode, but you are missing things that the 14 Plus has, like action mode, cinematic mode, and cinematic mode of 4K, which you can throw in there as well. But you're still getting things like portrait mode. It's still a very good camera. Like if you want to use it on Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram and those types of social media applications, very, very good camera there. That's where I use my camera mostly. And I don't really complain too much about the iPhone 12's camera quality. I used the 12 Pro for a long time. That phone had pretty good camera. The 14 Plus camera is definitely a better camera for sure, at least in the stock camera app. I will say otherwise though, if you're using it in like Snapchat and TikTok, like what I use it for, it's probably not going to be that big of a difference for you. However, you're still getting portrait mode. It's probably a little bit better here, but you're getting cinematic mode. Now, I use cinematic mode quite a bit. It's like portrait mode for video, but it's not really as great as standard video mode. And I say that because the algorithm they use or whatever, it blurs out subjects all the time. So if I'm making a video on like this iPhone or whatever, it's going to blur out the screen a lot, even though I don't want it to. So Apple still needs to kind of improve it a little bit, even with the 14 Plus series, but that is a cool feature the 14 Plus has that the iPhone 12 doesn't really have. So to kind of sum up this whole entire video, what I'll probably tell you is I think the iPhone 14 Plus is definitely a good phone and is definitely an upgrade from the iPhone 12. You know, for starters, you're getting better cameras, better performance, longer lasting phone, better battery life by quite a bit. I mean, this phone is going to be a way better phone, but the iPhone 12 is a cheaper phone, which still has a lot of value within it. You're getting a smaller phone, which some people may prefer. You're getting almost kind of the same as that camera setup, but you're lacking a few camera features. You're getting still a really good display, pretty good build quality for the most part, you know, really good performance still. Like this is still a really good phone. I will say if you have a 14 Plus or if you have an iPhone 12, I wouldn't go from a 12 to a 14 Plus. I would go from a 12 to a 13 Pro Max. That would be the phone I would go to. But otherwise, that's kind of how both these phones compare. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.